Preparation is key to navigating uncertain times, and having the right items on hand can make all the difference. In this video, discover the 10 essential prepping items that could soon become unavailable. Don't wait until it's too late. Secure these critical supplies now and ensure your safety and peace of mind in the future. 1. Perimeter trip alarms. Perimeter trip alarms are an absolute must-have when it comes to securing your property and protecting your loved ones. If you're serious about personal safety and preparedness, these devices should be at the top of your list. Their primary purpose is straightforward: to send a loud, unmistakable noise to scare off intruders and alert you to their presence. This simple yet effective tool is a no-nonsense solution to home security that no prepper should overlook. Here's the deal with trip alarms. They're easy to set up, affordable, and reliable. With the use of a 209 primer, these alarms create a powerful sound that's nearly impossible to ignore. Strategically placed around your yard, garden, or property boundaries, these alarms ensure you're always a step ahead when someone tries to sneak in uninvited. Their camouflage designs make them blend seamlessly into the environment. Whether it's a wooded area or your backyard, no one will even see it coming, and that's their biggest strength. Placement is crucial. Set them up at commonly used access points, whether it's pathways, driveways, or any place you suspect could be a weak link in your security. These are especially valuable if you live in a rural area where law enforcement is slow to respond or can't always offer quick solutions. The alarms will act as your first line of defense, even buying you time to react in an emergency. However, here's where you need to use your head. Reckless handling or upgrading these alarms to fire live shotgun shells is pure idiocy. Not only is it incredibly dangerous, but it's also illegal. Do you really want to cause serious injury, or worse, and end up with criminal charges? Stick to the 209 primers as intended, and you'll avoid unnecessary accidents and legal trouble. Responsible use is key. What makes perimeter trip alarms so indispensable is their value for money. They're dirt cheap compared to advanced security systems and yet provide immense peace of mind. For preppers, it's about being ready for whatever comes next, and these alarms are a quick, effective way to stay alert. When SHTF, you'll be grateful for anything that gives you a head start. Their simplicity and effectiveness make them one prepping item you definitely don't want to lose out on. 2. Lockpicking tools. If you're serious about prepping, lockpicking tools should be one of the first items on your list before they get banned. These tools aren't just cool gadgets, they're survival essentials. Imagine being locked out of a vehicle when you desperately need to escape, or being unable to access critical supplies in an emergency situation. Without the ability to bypass a lock, you could waste valuable time or even your life. A proper lockpicking kit, such as a 10-piece hook set or jiggler keys, gives you the ability to safely and efficiently access secured spaces. It's not just about having the tools, it's also about having the skills to use them right. Practicing and developing your lockpicking abilities teaches patience and precision, skills you'll need in high-pressure survival scenarios. Combination lock practice sets, for example, can help you hone your abilities so that when the time comes, you're not stuck fumbling. Now let's talk ethics and legality because yes, people are quick to associate lockpicking with criminal behavior. Most regions allow the ownership of lockpicking tools as long as they're not used for illegal purposes. The bottom line is simple: know your local laws and make sure you're within the legal limits. You're not out there breaking into places for fun. You're preparing for potential emergencies where survival depends on it. Some platforms might restrict the sale of these kits due to legal gray areas, so getting them now, while it's still possible, is a strong move. For preppers, the importance of lockpicking tools cannot be overstated. These kits allow for non-destructive access to locked areas, something that's not only smarter but also more resourceful. Whether it's retrieving medical supplies, securing shelter, or accessing food stockpiles in an emergency, being able to pick a lock could mean the difference between survival and failure. These tools empower you to manage critical situations without resorting to unnecessary damage or creating more problems for yourself in the long run. Don't wait for the day these tools become impossible to obtain. The chance to buy and practice with lockpicking kits may not always be on the table. Governments and regulations are tightening on items considered risky, even when they're used responsibly. Once these tools are banned or stigmatized, you'll regret not prioritizing them in your preparedness gear. If you think you don't need lockpicking tools or that they seem unnecessary, you're kidding yourself. Prepping is about anticipating scenarios where conventional solutions won't cut it. When doors are literally closed to you, you need the means to open them. Act now, get your kit, and start practicing. When the situation calls, you'll be glad you didn't rely on luck to get through. 3. Handcuffs and keys. When it comes to prepping, handcuffs and their corresponding keys may not be the first items that come to mind, but they're a game changer for anyone serious about survival. These aren't just tools for law enforcement. In a high-stakes scenario, they become vital for securing your safety and maintaining order. Whether it's detaining a hostile individual trying to threaten your family or locking down resources to prevent theft, handcuffs bridge the gap between chaos and control. One of the biggest advantages is their versatility. Need to secure a door and deny entry? Handcuffs can act as a temporary lock. Want to make sure your gear stays exactly where you left it? You've got a quick-use solution right here. But they truly shine in situations where temporary restraint is necessary, like dealing with someone aggressive who might betray your group's survival efforts. Without something as effective as handcuffs, you're left improvising, and that wasted time could cost you dearly. The Steel Police Edition handcuffs, specifically the ones with a double lock feature, are the gold standard for preppers. Why? They're reliable, durable, and prevent over-tightening, which lowers the risk of causing unnecessary injury. The double lock mechanism is perfect because it keeps things secure but avoids the dangerous scenario of cutting off circulation. If you're serious about prepping, get the proper keys too. Breaking someone out of handcuffs might look cool in the movies, but it's a colossal waste of time and effort in real life. Make sure the keys are stored in a safe, easily accessible place. Because if you can't release someone when needed, you're creating a problem out of thin air. Now, don't forget about the legal side of things. This isn't a free-for-all, and it's your responsibility to understand the laws in your state, your country, or wherever you live. Some places have strict regulations about the possession and use of handcuffs, and walking around with a pair on your belt might get you labeled as suspicious, or worse. The last thing you need is legal trouble ruining your prepping efforts. So do your homework, no excuses. If you're not supposed to have them, you need a workaround, or you need to reconsider your prepping strategies. But if it's legal, add these to your gear ASAP, before regulatory changes take that option off the table. Finally, what separates true preppers from everyone else is responsible handling. This isn't about stockpiling a tactical fantasy, it's about real-world solutions to real-world problems. Misusing handcuffs is a fast track to collateral damage, fractured relationships, or worse. Use them with caution. If the situation is real and unavoidable, then act decisively. But don't treat this tool lightly. The last thing you want is a loose set of ethics to turn into a liability for you or your group. Bottom line, handcuffs and keys are invaluable prepping items. They provide security, control, and peace of mind in an unpredictable world. But only if you're smart about how you leverage them. Get them now, learn how to use them responsibly, and make sure you're ready for whatever comes next. Because when bans on certain survival items start rolling in, these just might be the first to disappear. Don't procrastinate. Secure this tool for your prepping arsenal while you still can. 4. Heavy-duty zip ties. When it comes to prepping essentials, heavy-duty zip ties are non-negotiable. These aren't your standard dollar store finds. Police-grade nylon zip ties are built to last through anything you throw at them. They're tough as nails, resisting extreme temperatures, harsh UV rays, and relentless wear and tear. For preppers, this makes them an indispensable multi-purpose tool to handle anything from survival to security, even when all else fails. Why do you need them? Because versatility and reliability matter when the world falls apart. Heavy-duty zip ties can serve as makeshift handcuffs if law enforcement options are compromised. They're perfect for securing and organizing vital equipment, keeping your cables, packs, or supplies neatly in order while you're on the move. If you find yourself in an emergency shelter building scenario or you're repairing broken gear with no access to proper tools, these little wonders get the job done with zero excuses. The reinforced locking mechanisms ensure a solid hold, which means once you tighten them, they're not coming loose. This kind of reliable strength is what will separate those who are prepared from those who aren't. The lightweight, compact design also means you can stuff dozens of these in your bag without bogging yourself down. They take up virtually no space, but their uses are limitless in survival and security situations. Society is fragile, and the disruptions to follow will hit hard and fast. Supply chain breakdowns, governmental restrictions, or outright bans on certain tactical items can happen in the blink of an eye. Stocking up on heavy-duty zip ties now means you'll have this essential item before access becomes restricted or entirely cut off. Once the shelves are empty, these will disappear faster than you can say, unprepared. The bottom line is zip ties are cheap, effective, and ridiculously versatile for something so simple. Ignore them at your peril, because when society collapses, you'll quickly realize they're worth in actions, not words. Don't wait for regulations or panic buyers to clean out the market. Secure your stash today while you still can. Trust us, you'll thank yourself later. 5. Guerrilla Warfare books. When shit hits the fan, knowing how to adapt and think strategically will be the difference between survival and failure. That's where Guerrilla Warfare books come into play. These aren't your average how-to guides, they're vital resources packed with unconventional survival strategies for when traditional methods are useless or outright dangerous. Every prepper needs these books, period. These resources teach you how to think like a tactician, outsmart the enemy, and secure your ground when things spiral out of control. Titles like The Anarchist Cookbook may be controversial for their raw content, but it's better to know than to be in the dark. This book, along with others like The U.S. Army Special Forces Guide to Unconventional Warfare, arms you with tactical knowledge that regular survival guides don't cover. From resistance methods to creating tools and defensive strategies, these books offer insights that are simply indispensable in a worst-case scenario. But don't be naive. Owning and using these materials requires discretion. If you can, pay for them in cash or use privacy-soaked online methods like cryptocurrencies. The information contained in these books can raise eyebrows in the wrong company, so don't go advertising your library to just anyone. Use this knowledge not to provoke violence or chaos, but to ensure your own safety and that of your community. The world won't play fair when SHTF, and neither should you. What makes guerrilla warfare materials such a critical necessity is their focus on adaptability and strategic thinking. You can't rely on predictable solutions in a world gone mad. Improvisation is going to be your best weapon. These books prepare you for that reality, honing your ability to respond under pressure and maximize limited resources. The goal is survival, and this knowledge teaches you to treat survival almost like an art form. That said, with great power comes great responsibility. The last thing you need is to misuse what you've learned and end up as a danger to yourself or others. These books are tools, a means to an end. Make sure that end is living another day, not creating chaos. Knowledge is a weapon, and in the prepping world, it's one you can't afford to ignore. 6. General responsible prepping tips. Prepping is about more than just stockpiling. It's about thinking ahead, staying informed, and taking responsibility for your actions. First off, you've got to keep up with the rules and regulations. Laws change, and what's perfectly legal to buy today could be outright banned tomorrow. Don't assume you'll always be able to grab the tools or gear you need at the last minute. Plan ahead, and know the legal boundaries to avoid trouble. The last thing you want is to be on the wrong side of the law because you didn't put in the time to research. Another critical piece of advice: stop relying solely on the gear. Sure, it's nice to have the latest gadgets and survival tools, but all that stuff is useless without the skills to back it up. Take the time to learn how to use your tools effectively. Invest in your knowledge, whether that's wilderness survival, first aid, or water purification. No amount of gear is going to save you if you can't put it to practical use. Get your hands dirty, practice regularly, and become self-reliant. Skills don't break, run out of batteries, or get confiscated. Now, pay attention to your local laws. Just because you're prepping for worst-case scenarios doesn't mean you should disregard the rules. Know what's allowed and what isn't. Carrying banned tools or materials, even for prepping purposes, can put you in a world of legal trouble. You don't need to draw unnecessary attention to yourself because of ignorance. Be smart. Blend in and stay under the radar. Finally, prepping isn't just hoarding a bunch of stuff in your basement. It's about being resourceful, responsible, and forward-thinking. Your goal is to ensure your future safety, not create chaos for yourself or others. Avoid panic buying or falling into the doom and gloom mindset. Prepping should reduce stress, not add to it. By balancing self-reliance with accountability, you'll be able to build a robust preparedness plan that respects the law and covers your bases. Be deliberate, be disciplined, and keep your priorities straight, because the future depends on how prepared you are today.